Hello tacticians, on January the 20th we see the return of the Faction War Conquest Tournament Arena. This is the one where you have to take in the whole faction and you have to capture the control points. Now some of you out there see this as a barbaric meat grinder, where, well, do you have to do this? And well, I guess no you don't. For others though, it's a place where you can forge your strategic reputation and get to the top of the leaderboard. Now, the big question is, there have been a number of changes to the roster recently, and have they come to the Taunt Arena? So first up, let's have a scroll down and look at the Space Wolves. Now, Baldr has only just been released, and so it probably isn't a massive surprise that he isn't in the team lineup at the moment. However, we'll revisit that comment in a minute. Carry on going down, Drier has made a very welcome reappearance for the Astra Militarum, and I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people very happy, as it really does lift that team from, well, terrible to actually quite good. And moving on to the Tau, Farsight is here. Now, this does make me think of a few questions. I actually don't mind that Farsight has made an appearance in maybe the Epic and Legendary. However, for the lower rarities, it would have been good, I think, to keep Darkstrider there. So for those people who are a fan of the Tau, and there's more than a handful out there, and if they are newer to the game, they have still got an option to use their favourite team that they may already have geared up, or at least have a toggle so you could maybe click on Commander Farsight to switch between the two. But maybe this really indicates that we need a better way to choose our teams for the faction wars. And finally, the Emperor's Children. Now, as I said with Baldr earlier, he's not available for the Space Wolves. However, Laviscus is available for the Emperor's Children if you have unlocked him. And bearing in mind this one is behind the Battle Pass, I think, again, many people would prefer to keep with Volk for the time being until they have actually unlocked Laviscus. With all that said, I think I really do need to put together some thoughts on the faction war as a whole. But until I get to that, let's have a look at the Emperor's Children on the battlefield as a faction. So what I like to do is send Lucius forward. Not so much the universe's greatest swordsman as the universe's greatest lure. And move everyone else up ready. Now the Blood Angels quite often get excited at the taste of blood, and they'll probably try and come in and kill him off. And then when everything fails, they'll carry on doing so until they finally get that kill. And they'll go, hang on, we need to get 2 points, so maybe they'll come down here as well. Now, I'll be honest, I very much doubt anyone would reach forward this much. We just want to know how much damage can the Emperor's Children do, given the chance. So, let's use the excruciating frequencies, and Adamatar can use his Doom Siren, nearly killing him off. That wasn't too bad. In fact, it might be enough just to leave him like that and attack Mephiston, because Lucius is going to kill him off with a resultant damage and come back next turn. A bit like that, which then leads to a taunt from Haskell, meaning Mephiston can't use his active ability. And I would say at this point, it's not game over for the Blood Angels, but I don't think they're going to win. They'll certainly get a few points though. Let's be honest, it's not every time they're going to rush in like that. The two you need to watch out for are really Dante and Mephiston. I think if you can get those two lured in purely by moving here, although maybe not on the high ground, then again putting Lucius next to the high ground is always very tempting for the enemy. And Adamatar as well. So why Adamatar? Well, Adamatar is the one with the most armour out of the rest of them. So he might be able to take a punch. And also, by making sure he gets closer, it means he's going to be able to have more of a chance of using his Doom Siren, which the enemy really don't want him to do. So again, let's move everyone else slightly forward. Now, this time we're not going to run in. The Blood Angels know that they've got plenty of time. Look, there's hardly anyone in range. So they're just going to say, you know what? By all means, capture a point or two. We are ready for you. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to capture 2 points. Not the ones adjacent to each other, though. Going here is just asking for trouble. They'll kill you both off and probably capture 2 of the points as well. By doing it this way, you're spreading everyone out. So now they absolutely have to do something. They can't leave Adamatar alone, as he's just going to run in and use the Doom Siren. So they'll do what they're known for doing, which is the old switcheroo with these 2. Didn't quite kill Lucius, and Adamatar is quite injured as well. So they'd certainly finish off Adamatar. Probably from a range rather than doing that, and they'd capture the point. See what they can do and act accordingly. So it now comes down to what can the Emperor's children do in this circumstance. Well, we're going to start by getting Martenio off that point. And then we've got Haskell to run up, kill 1, not quite, and kill the second, which means you then all have to do is just run up with Chiron to win. I will admit I wasn't expecting the extra attack from Haskell to kill Mephiston as well, but we still had Laviscus down there to finish the job. Anyway, moving on to the second team, which is quite popular, the Genestealer Cults. And these are a slightly different kettle of fish. You are more worried about the summons, and to be honest, Judd, than you are about their range. They're happy to go within range and take 1 set of murdering, as they know they will be back. But you do need to be watching out for these stars on the first turn. That is where Judd can get to. So if you do go onto them, just make sure not everyone is lined up. It's a bit of a shame, as well. No, we'll go over here. Now, I'm not the best Genestealer Cults player. Quite frankly, I suck at them, I'll be honest. But looking at where the Emperor's children can get to, they can quite happily start just edging forward a little bit in preparing for next turn, as they know they can die and come back. So we could start things off with Chiron using the excruciating frequencies. I wasn't expecting a kill of Zybia, which in itself is shocking because it also hit Judd. It means if we can kill Judd and capture all 3 points, they win. As I said earlier, I'm not the best Genestealer Cults player. So is it possible for these guys to kill Zybia and Judd in 1 turn? And the answer is yes. So let's just try that same outcome, but instead of staying back, we're going to send Judd in just to see what would happen to Lucius in this sort of example. I'm not going to do a whole battle. As I said, I'm not the best player with Genestealer Cultists. So all I'm really interested in is, given the chance, can Judd, do something like that? Okay, so just make sure you don't group up and only let Judd kill 1. But I guess that goes for any team fighting the Genestealer Cults. However, I would like to know if you guys are looking forward to the Emperor's Children in the TA. How are you going to use them? Which teams are you looking forward to fight against? Which ones are you going to dread? Maybe Genestealer Cults will be one of them. And as always, if you like this sort of content, please hit that subscribe button below, and also leave a message in the comments below about which teams you'd like me to cover in the future.